So basically, this isn't the first time that the company tries to go public. The difference is here is that we have a new owner, right? About a year and a half ago, you mentioned that private equity guys sold AMC to one of the largest real estate developers in China, if not the largest. Bloomberg Billionaires Index actually uncovered how much he's worth, $14 billion. So very deep pockets here. So he bought AMC from the buyout guys for about $2.6 billion. And he already operates a big theater company in China. And yes, there are synergies when it comes to theater supplies and things of that nature. But what people are saying around this deal is this may be a way for China to get closer to Hollywood at the end of the day, right? So this may be his way maybe of bridging the gap between what China is doing in terms of developing and producing its own content and maybe bringing over some Hollywood films into the country in a way that it hasn't been able to break into before.
Okay, so Christina, there's lots of details in this filing. What jumped out at you?
Well, look, the filing is really bare at this point because there's not much. I mean, there's a lot of great things about the company, as you would expect, because they're trying to sell shares to the public. You know, the company had 200 million guests visit the theaters last year. It had its best year in terms of revenue last year. So great marketing numbers. The real question is, in this filing and in subsequent offerings, what is he going to do with the proceeds of these offerings? And that is the biggest thing. So when I jump down and I go to the use of proceeds language in the document, all I see is a boilerplate right now saying we plan to use the proceeds of this offering for general corporate purposes. Of course, the company has some debt. They may use it to repay that debt.
But this is all coming in an era where more and more people are preferring to stay at home rather than go out to the movies, right? Because sometimes
I like how you looked at me there, Eric. You're like, Georgia is the home buddy. She's not going anywhere.
They can get those first-run movies sometimes on pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's right.
And just as often, right, don't care. They don't feel like they need to go and see the IMAX experience or the 3D experience. Just as happy sitting on their couch in front of the 55-inch screen TV.
You're absolutely right. And that's why the private equity guys had such a hard time with this investment. And that's why ultimately they didn't really make that much money. And that's why they had to pull it so many times. And they opted to sell it to this Chinese company. But what's interesting here is, again, it's not... People around this deal are saying it's not so much a play for the theater audience, it's a way to get closer to Hollywood. And if China could somehow distribute American movies in a big way and maybe partner in the production and own some of the content that's being developed, especially for a Chinese audience or specifically for a Chinese audience, that may be very powerful.